Welcome to the Lunch Hour with Mr. Credit.
It's the big guy. Get in here.
And today, it's Wise Wednesday.
You're so wise, but like a miniature Buddha covered in hair.
Giving you the smartest financial advice in every aspect of your financial life.
You're so money and you don't even know it.
And now, the Lunch Hour with Mr. Credit on ESPN Radio 1700.
Hey, it's your tomorrow. Come on, it's everything. It's a magic moment. Do it right
Welcome.
now.
It is that time. It's Wise Wednesday on the Mr. Credit Show. Thank you for taking time out of your day. It's John Geroach, JJ with Synergy One Lending, bringing you a great panel today, getting you some good topics today. And I'm going to welcome right out of the gate here, perfect timing, Billy Colestock. How you doing, buddy?
Might be breathing a little bit hard. I was running.
Hey, man, you beat your estimation by 2 minutes.
That's perfect.
And it was perfect timing, so good. Glad to have you on here.
Thanks for having me.
There's been many times where I'm running into the studio here in the nick of time, and it's not always easy, but you made it, I think, in pretty good time from Mission Valley today. So
I left at 11:44.
Nice. That is, we won't tell that to any of our law enforcement that could be listening today. We won't say what kind of car you're driving, but thank you for flying up here to make it, because we need you in the studio. I mean, part of the show is bringing the best of the best in the fields that we are working in into the studio so we can make our audience wiser than anybody else. And calling in the second segment is going to be Jeffrey Kahn, our board-certified tax attorney. And let's go do a quick market update real fast. We're just hitting the tops of the tops all across the board. I mean, the Dow still over 17,000. It's hanging on tight. And, we're seeing a tiny bit of red across the board today. It's red all across the board, but in minute amounts, I would say it's flat. The market's probably taken a big breather for the last couple of days. I mean, the S&P ended over 2,000 for the first time ever yesterday. So just records across the board. Treasury markets, a little bit of red there too. So a little sell-off, but not much. And interest rates, I mean, they're awesome. I mean, if you're in the housing market and you're looking to buy a home, you're putting offers in, or you might be in escrow. Now's the time to probably just lock it in and be done with it. If you're looking to refinance, I mean, here we are. We're almost to September. Interest rates, what are they going to do? Nobody's got the crystal ball. I wish I had it. Billy, I really wish I had the crystal ball in the studio. I mean, wouldn't that be nice if we could just spin a little ball?
It would make the radio boring, though.
You think so?
A little bit.
We are streaming on MrCredit.tv live.
There we go.
So people could watch. I mean, yeah. Shake it up, get the magic cube. Maybe I'll bring in a magic cube. One of those, what was this called?
8-ball.
The 8-ball. The magic 8-ball. I'm bringing a magic 8-ball in next week, and we are going to predict what interest rates are going to do right with the magic 8-ball. I don't know if it can give me that answer, but we're going to see next week. I'm going to try to find one and bring it in. But if you are shopping that interest rate stuff, I'll tell you, I mean, it's not worth it. Rates are phenomenal. And just looking to be done with it, move on with your good life, because you have a lot of other things to worry about. And today we're going to talk a lot about real estate down the road here. But, it's kind of saddening when I see these scammer stories all over the place. And today we are going to jump into some stuff, Billy. Jeffrey Kahn's going to be calling in. We're going to talk about some things that people have to worry about when it comes to the IRS and their taxes and some of the scam stuff that's going on out there. But, this one really just makes me upset when I read this. This was on CNN, and this is 7 scams, and it says will make your blood boil. The first one is just crazy when I saw this. So, we always have to worry about identity theft in today's day and age. There's so much hacking stuff going on out there. It's just sad. And have you had any identity theft happen to yourself?
When I was a little kid, I was 2 or 3 years old. Somebody took my social security number and went to college.
Seriously.
Yeah, student loan debts. My parents found out when they started applying for colleges and those type of things, they found out this guy Willie Bledsoe from Michigan, when I was 2, went and got student loans out on my name, my social security number. He got paid. He went to college.
Wow.
Yep.
That's incredible.
I haven't had any recently, but
So that was probably, I mean, and that probably took a lot of time to.
my parents had to make arguments that my son was 2 when this happened.
And he's not some amazing brainiac at
Keep
2
on
years
going
old.
with you're throwing it right down the center there. I'm gonna be able to hit that one out of the park.
Come on. I mean, if you were 7, it would
Right.
make sense that
Right.
you were graduating college. But at 2,
Not some prodigy child at 2.
Yeah, 2 years old, graduated college with a bunch of student loan debt already, which is another major problem in America today. But this one's just sad. I mean, this is one of these scams. I mean, they're victimizing foster kids, Billy, and
No kidding.
yeah, I'm not kidding. It's the problem is that their information is just shared by too many people.
Makes sense.
The foster kids, and about
We
fostering
just went through
kids.
that process.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. You're a good guy, and Jasenia, you're good people to do that. But identity thieves are, they're targeting the foster children because the information is just so readily out there, shared by a number of agencies and households in the system, and it's pretty easy to get this information in the wrong hands. So that's number one that you got to watch out for. If you know somebody that is, in the foster system or, working with that system, I mean, make sure this one, I mean, we hear about it all the time, but it's something we just continually.
I mean, if you think about it, it's probably a really good target because nobody, the parents aren't watching.
Right.
The system is more concerned about, just making sure that everything is status quo and moving in the right direction and nobody's, abusing it or whatnot. And the foster parents aren't paying attention to that either.
Right.
I wouldn't imagine.
Yeah.
So, I mean, pretty good target.
It's
if you think about
crazy.
it.
You just got to be careful with this stuff. Here's another scam. I mean, stealing from the elderly. It's just one of those things that is going to continue to happen, regretfully, in the system. I know I have a 82-year-old cousin. She's a second cousin, twice removed, something like that. I don't really know how the family tree dynamics, how the lingo rolls down. When I say that, people are like, twice removed, what does that mean? I think that's what she is.
Family.
Amazing lady, 82, and her brain is perfect. Her body's perfect. I mean, she lives a normal life, but she's not a techie. She's not a technical person, and she's not checking her credit or anything like that. The elderly are going to continue to be picked on over and over, and it's just something to educate. We all have parents, we have grandparents, some of us still have grandparents, but you got to educate them and make sure that they're being taken care of. And it's the phone calls. If they're retired, they're at home, they're getting phone calls, people are going after them. So you have to make sure that somebody's watching over them, just because it's going to continue to happen. And you think that it's not going to happen to your parent or something, but it's possible. This one is an interesting one, preying on migrant families. You've recently come to the United States and your child's crossed the border safely, and you get a phone call and it's like, hey, you want to be reunited with your kid, you got to pay some money, whatever the case may be. You want to be reunited with your parent, you got to pay some money. And when it comes to family, people know where to hit it in the heart. They know where to hit it, right between the eyes and right in your chest, to pull on the strings that are going to get you, because you just don't know. But it's a scam. And the FBI is warning that fraudsters are accessing the names of children who have crossed the border alone and are being held in federal facilities, digging up the contact information on their families. I mean, This is what the scammers are doing.
They sit back and just spend they spend so much time. Their whole entire day life is spent thinking of how can they manipulate the system.
Yeah.
Doesn't surprise me a bit.
It's crazy. And because they're criminals and the technology is there and they're smart. I
Yeah.
mean, let's face it,
They may
these
have
aren't
gotten a
stupid
degree
people.
at three or
Right.
4.
Yeah, and just because they can't get a job doesn't mean that they can't try to get you money. And a lot of countries that are, it's the other countries, the people in the other countries that are trying to get after us here in the States because we got it so good sometimes. Here's another one: duping the homeless into debt. This is a crazy one, but it's popping up in a handful of cities. But the scammers are picking up homeless people and paying them $50 to $100 to take out cell phone contracts and get subsidized phones, where a phone could be worth up to $600. You think about it like an iPhone. I mean, shoot, I don't even carry a $600 phone.
Still got the BlackBerry?
Yeah, I still got the BlackBerry. It's still rolling. It fell off my lap onto the ground. Everything exploded. Put it back together. It still works. That's why I carry it, and I will continue to run the BlackBerry company, keeping them in business until it's time for me to give it up, which could be soon. I will check out a new phone that's coming out in September. I'm not going to wait in line for it, but I will check it out and see if maybe it's time to give up my BB. I don't know, but I will let you know. Everybody's going to hear about it because it's going to be exciting, because I'm probably going to be reaching out. Billy, how do you do this thing? I want my BlackBerry back. But, for the homeless, once these guys get the phones, they drop them off. They drop off the homeless victims, and then they sell the phones. And the homeless victim now has a phone company, like a Verizon or AT&T, going after them. So just another scam out there. Here's another one. And this is one that, this is the Mr. Credit Show, and your information is sold. I hate to say this, but if you have stuff on your credit report, like student loans or credit card debt, people can buy information to see what you got.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a lot of companies out there that claim to be debt relief firms. And it's sad. They're going to call you. They're going to say, hey, we're going to help you out, and just give us a little bit of money up front. But here's one, and this is a real story. A woman from New York filed a complaint saying she sent a firm $5,320 to disperse to credit card companies, to her creditors. The company kept the money, didn't disperse it. She still got the debt. And she stopped making her payment because they were supposed to be making the payments with the money that she gave them. She's now out $5,300, and it can happen just like that. So just beware when these things happen, and because they are out there. Here's another one, and this one's just sad. We're in San Diego, and Billy, as you know, we are a mecca for the military.
Yep.
A lot of military here. Thank you for serving. And there, we have a lot of bases. We've got Oceanside, down to Point Loma, Coronado, a lot of military families, and they are scamming. They're going after the military families. Here's one that's, people are calling the families saying, hey, your husband or wife or whatever, whoever's overseas, will be coming home early. And they're asking for payments to process early leave requests. And the Ohio Attorney General's office warned about the scam last month. It receives hundreds of complaints every year from the military members who have been targeted by these scams. And just another one is just the identity theft. Service members can return home to thousands of dollars in debt, because it's they're overseas and no one's watching it.
It's not their job.
It's not their job. They're serving our country.
And they're focusing on what they need to be doing.
It's just crazy.
That is insane.
It's just sad. So scammers, stop scamming. Just go get a job and make money in an honest way, like the rest of us out here. When we come back, we're going to have Jeffrey Kahn, our board-certified tax attorney, call in because he's got some scams to talk about. We have Billy Colestock in the studio today, SoCalLifestyleRealty.com. He's going to bring us some new listings, some listings that aren't even on the market. We're going to talk about the real estate market a little bit. I have some questions for Billy that I'm going to drill him on. We come back at your lunch hour, 1700 ESPN.
If you would like free advice from Mr. Credit, just call or text 619-786-7853. That's 619-786-7853.
Welcome back to the Lunch Hour with Mr. Credit. And today, it's Wise Wednesday on ESPN Radio 1700.
Welcome back. It's Wise Wednesday on Mr. Credit Show. It's John Giroux, JJ, Synergy One Lending. If you have any questions for myself, for our guests in the studio today, go to askjjnow.com. You can give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, and we'll get those answered for you. Hopefully, we have Jeffrey Kahn on the line here. Jeff, you there?
I am here, JJ. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy day. I know you're always gallivanting around the West Coast helping people out in their tax law problems. And I know it's not easy to, make it on the show here. But this is an important one. Before the break, we were talking about a bunch of different scams that are out there, Jeff. And, in your world, it's no different that you see scams happening on the tax end of things, right?
That's correct. Yeah, it's been, I would say, over this past year, it has been the worst in my 26 years of practicing tax law.
Well, now I want to say that. 26 years. This is why we bring Jeff on the show here. He's got 26 years in tax law experience. He's board certified. He's not your CPA. He's a tax law specialist. And, I just want to tell our listeners this, Jeff, real fast. If you're listening, you're a Mr. Credit listener, the law offices of Jeffrey Kahn will provide you with a tax resolution plan. It's a $500 value for free as long as you mention Mr. Credit when you call to make an appointment. And you will be meeting with Jeff right here in San Diego. I'm going to give your number out real fast, Jeff, before we move on here. The number to call is 866-494-6829, 866-494-6829. Now, listen up, folks. This latest scam is a tough one. 1,100 people have been victimized so far nationwide, and the IRS is putting out this warning. It's really important that you know about this because the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration has received 90,000 complaints about these scams. And they estimate that thieves have stolen an estimated $5 million.
Whoa.
Yeah, Billy, $5 million from about 1,100 victims. And, Jeff, I'm going to go to you on this. What you get a call from the IRS, you freak out, right? That's just, somebody calls you, says you owe money, you freak out, your knees start knocking. And, but what does one need to understand and know what to do in this situation?
All right. Well, with the IRS, the first contact that they will always make, whether you're selected for an audit or whether you owe the IRS money, it's always going to be a letter. So if you're selected for an audit, you're going to receive a letter from the IRS that you've been selected for an audit. This is the person that you need to contact. If you owe the IRS money, well, you're going to be receiving collection notices, tax bills from the IRS. There will be information in those notices, who to contact at the IRS. But you need to be careful because even the scammers have got smart and they've dummied up notices that appear to be from the IRS. And to a layperson, they may not know the difference, but I know the difference right away. So if somebody were to come in saying, hey, I got selected for an audit, or I owe the IRS money, Jeff, here's the last communication I received, I'm going to know whether that is bogus or it's, for real, and I'll be able to act accordingly based on what their situation is. Yeah,
that's amazing. What if somebody, you get a notice in the mail, it says, hey, we need a credit card to pay this debt. Is that something, how is the IRS typically collecting payment?
Yeah, well, the IRS will never ask you over the phone for your credit card information.
Okay.
So you always know if a scammer is asking you for that kind of information, it's a scammer. It's not the IRS.
Okay. And, so you hear these stories. I mean, the IRS knocking on your door. I mean, is this something that happens? I mean, will somebody come and knock on the door for the first call?
Well, if you get a knock on the first door, chances are it's a pair of what we call special agents. They're with the IRS Criminal Investigation Division. They will show their ID. They will show their badges. They probably even carry guns on them. And if you get a pair of IRS agents coming on your, knocking at your door, showing you their ID, I mean, that's the equivalent of the police. And the first thing you want to do is refuse to speak with them and say, I'm going to call up my tax attorney.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I'll tell you, if if you get a pair, I like how they travel in pairs. You're having a bad day. I mean, that's just it's not a good thing, right?
I would suspect that's above and beyond, a couple $1,000s that the scammers are trying to go after.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, when you've got those special agents knocking on your door, it's not just a matter of money, the IRS being paid, but they're looking to set you up as an example to the public and do criminal prosecution, which could mean jail time.
Yeah, that's a scary deal, and that's why you got to reach out to the experts. I'm telling you, your accountant is not going to be able to help you out in this situation. You got to reach out to Jeff here. And it's sad when you read these stories on the scammers. They're using fake names, they're using fake IRS badge numbers to identify themselves. They may know the last 4 digits of your Social Security number. So you might ask the questions as a preliminary possible victim here, but they're going to be able to trick you. They can spoof their caller IDs to make it appear as if they're calling from the IRS. They can send, bogus IRS emails to back up their calls, and they'll even hear background noise of other calls to mimic that they're in a busy location. So it's really important if you've gotten one of these calls or emails, or you think what might be an official letter and you're just not sure, you need to call Jeff. Give him a call at 866-494-6829. Now, Jeffrey, I know we're coming up to the time where people that have filed their tax extensions for 2014, I mean, they got to file them pretty fast here in the next couple months. And I think one of the big questions for people is, when you owe money, what do? You owe money. What are the tips that you can give people out there? Because not everybody has the money to pay, and it gets stressful. I know a lot of people will bury their head in the sand when it comes to this sort of thing. I mean, in my business, doing a mortgage for people, you see people filing extensions, but they owed money. They were supposed to send it, but they haven't sent it because they can't pay it. What do you do what's the best option here for people?
Well, before we even address kind of like what to do with the balance and the situation that you described, JJ, where you're on extension, that's an extension to file, not an extension to pay. The interest, the penalties are going to be the same. But if you don't file your tax return by October 15th and you're thinking, well, gee, I have a balance due, I can't pay it, so I'm not going to file my return, you're going to get hit with a late filing penalty. And now your tax bill is going to be 10% more because you didn't timely file a return. So one of the first things to do is, regardless of what your situation is about whether you're going to be able to pay it or not, you want to timely file that return. You could file a tax return showing a balance due and not include full payment, or not even include, any payment with it. But you want to make sure you timely file that return so you don't get hit with an extra 10% late filing penalty.
Okay, that's huge. And that can add up pretty fast. I mean, if you owe 20 grand, that's $2,000 right there.
That's right. It's another $2,000.
Yep.
Plus all the other late payment penalties and the interest and so on and so forth. Why are you going to go ahead, hold off on filing a return, and because of that, now it's going to cost you an extra 10%?
Yeah,
Makes no sense
that's
at all.
insane. And if people owe money and they haven't paid, I mean, let's say we go, back in 2012, 2013, they haven't really been able to just make that payment. I mean, you can help them out with this, right? I mean, there are ways to compromise and sort of come up with some different plans with the IRS, right?
That's correct. The IRS has got different programs. The best program is an offer and compromise, and in that program, you're actually getting a discount from the amount that you owe the IRS. So we are saying, okay, IRS, we agree that we owe you $100,000, but based on our financial situation, all we're able to pay is $10,000. And I've done enough of these that people could come into my office, I can evaluate their situation and see if, in fact, they would qualify to do an offer and compromise.
Wow.
If they don't qualify, then there's other options that we, of course, would want to explore.
Okay, that's great. I mean, if you're out there and you're in one of these situations, you need help and you want to reach out, you just need that meeting. Contact the law offices of Jeffrey Kahn today at 866-494-6829 for a full evaluation of your case to make sure you are pursuing the best course of action and paying the least amount possible to our good friends, double agents that could show up at your door from the IRS. Jeffrey, I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy day to give us a call here. We'll talk to you soon. When we come back, we got Billy Colestock in the studio, SoCalLifestyleRealty.com. We're going to talk about the real estate market. We have some listings. We're going to talk about new listings not on the MLS. Could be your dream home when we come back. 1700 ESPN.
If you would like free advice from Mr. Credit, just call or text 619-786-7853. That's 619-786-7853.
Welcome back to the Lunch Hour with Mr. Credit. And today, it's Wise Wednesday on ESPN Radio 1700.
Welcome back. It is Wise Wednesday today, and that's why we're here. We're here to try to bring you up to speed and make you smarter than everybody else out there and give you a little bit more information. Now, before the break, we were talking with Jeffrey Kahn, our board-certified tax attorney, and just with these IRS games. So if you have any things that are coming up, just be careful of them. We have Billy Colestock in the studio today. SoCal Lifestyle Realty is one of the top realtors in San Diego County, works with Jasenia, and they have one of the top Keller Williams teams in the broader San Diego marketplace, and we only bring in the experts. I mean, that's one of the things that you have to realize. We're going to talk about some
listings that they have on the market and some new listings coming to town. But Billy, I got to pick your brain a little bit.
Sure.
One of the things, here we are, we're almost to September. It's crazy to me. We're past the summer months, which is like the crazy hot, real estate action. And, I'm a newspaper reader and an article reader. I read a bunch of stuff out there. I want to know what's going on in the world. I want to know what's going on in the country, locally here in San Diego. So I read all these housing stories. And one of the stories that just came out is, housing price gains stall in June. That sounds pretty negative. It sounds pretty bad. But what you kind of dive into it a little bit more, San Diego home prices in San Diego rose 10.2% from June 2013 to June 2014.
Sure.
Now, I'm no math. Well, you know what? I am a math whiz. That's why I'm in the mortgage business. That's why I am a math whiz. That sounds pretty darn good to me.
Sure.
10%. Now,
absolutely.
Obviously, from
if we could put a couple years back to back like that, I don't think anybody would complain.
I mean, where can you put your money where you're making 10% annual gains, especially when you're talking about a $500,000 home?
It's
right?
a very different radio show than we were having in 2011, 2012, right?
It's true, isn't it?
How times have changed very quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. But when you read stuff like this, and there's another article, and it's more on a national basis. It sounds negative. My question for you is: am I crazy to think that this is a good thing? 10%.
Well, 10% is really good. I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
The stall also is good in my opinion too, because you've got people who want to sell their house. The inventory is increasing a little bit, but buyers are now having a selection. I noticed that 4,400 homes are under contract in San Diego County, pending wise.
4,400.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so, yeah, we have a few more homes to select from, but buyers are not having to fight over top of each other to get into a house. They can go out on a Saturday afternoon, look at 4 or 5, and pick the one that they like the most.
And they might have some competition for it, but not 20, 30 offers
Not
like
at
they
all.
once did.
Yeah, it's a great thing for the buyers, also for the sellers. Sellers who are motivated. There's buyers out there who are purchasing. Interest rate's still great. It's a good time.
Now, are you finding? I mean, I see this on my side, right? Somebody will get in the contract, and the next thing you know, I get a call, and it's like, hey, we did our inspection, and we're throwing in a request for repairs. And it just seems like there's people out there that are getting a little bit greedy on the request side of things.
Sure.
Are you finding this as well?
I am seeing that with the stall, people are, because of that less competition, they do feel like they're opening themselves up to more opportunities for negotiation.
Yeah.
Yes, so we are getting more requests for repairs. Buyers are coming back to homes 2, 3, 4 times before they actually make a decision on which one to buy.
So here's the thing. I want to know, and I want to educate people here. I mean, when you're buying a home, it could be 10 years old, it could be 20 years old, and it could be newer than that. And I see it all across the board. But you're not buying a brand new house, for
Right.
gosh sakes, right? What is reasonable to ask for?
That's a great question, and where we try to guide people when they're, first and foremost, when they have a home inspection, we're paying someone, a professional, who's accredited to find something wrong with this house.
Yes.
Okay? You're doing a home inspection so that you know what's wrong with the house, not so that you can ask for everything to be completed in the house. If there's a foundation issue, if there's a roof issue, if there's a serious plumbing issue, those are things that are going to affect in some cases, lendability, and then also the ability for that individual to sell that house later. Those are great things to be discussing when talking about requests for repair. In the kitchen, there's not a GFI outlet. That's $14 at Home Depot. That's something you can do that first weekend when you're moving in. Small things that are kind of inconsequential when you're thinking about the long term, that you're going to have, that's maintenance, pride of ownership type requests.
Well, and I'm glad to hear that, because that's Billy Colestock, SoCalLifestyleRealty.com. If you want to check out Billy and his team, this is JJ with Synergy One Lending on the Mr. Credit Show, bringing you the top real estate agent in the county to kind of give you the insight here. It's very important that you realize, when you're not buying a brand new home, it's kind of like going to a garage sale and picking up something used and expecting the seller to fix it for you. But you're buying it at a garage sale. And we're not talking, obviously you're not going to a garage sale to buy a home, but what you have to realize is when you're buying a home, there are things that you're going to have to do. And you can't expect the seller to fix all these things. It's not logical. And I want people to understand that you got to kind of put on the logic hat a little bit, because I do see it's getting a little out of hand. And people always feel like they want to win, Billy,
Absolutely.
They want to win the game. And, one thing I try to really educate people is we're not playing a game here. We're not. It's a business transaction. Mm-hmm. There's a couple different. You got a seller, you got a buyer, and you have people managing the transaction, and that's where you come in. You're the professional that manages and helps manage the transaction between the parties. Sometimes there's two agents or two realtors that are helping with this. And you gotta play together. You want to work as a team to make sure that it's a happy transaction. Now, one thing that we dealt with a couple of years ago, you talk about 2011, 2012. I mean, the sales that were happening at that time is like cash. Mm-hmm. Are we still seeing a lot of cash out there from investors buying up properties from the ones that are trying to get their first house?
Get their first house? No, not so much. Maybe they're coming out of college and they don't have it, but still, there is still a lot of cash in the market. Absolutely. And we're creating a move-up buyer who has equity in their home because of these 10% increases. I think the year before it was 19% increase. We have people who have equity and money in the market now, which is making the market move. Yeah, and so it's a good thing.
And that's Billy Colestock. One of the key points I want to take from what you just said is, move up buyers. I mean, it is a really good time, I think, in the marketplace right now. You've had people that have really gained a lot of equity position. I mean, I've seen it. People, it's crazy, but people that bought in even 2012 and did an FHA loan, 3.5% down, they're refinancing out of that mortgage insurance. They have 20, 25, 30% equity now. It's crazy what I'm seeing. And that's, interest rates are still good enough where they can now sell and buy up. And it's a really good time to do that. It's a great opportunity to do that. So, if you are in that position where, a new kid is in the house, maybe you just got married, you need more space, don't think it's a bad time. I mean, with the inventory levels going up, don't think it's a bad time to sell because it's a win-win-win all around. You have the low interest rate environment. If you're working with the right people, you price your home right, you're going to sell your home fast and you're going to get into escrow quick, Billy.
And one thing I have to say about that is that if you're planning on doing it in the next 2 years, we have no crystal ball here in the studio, okay?
We're going to get one.
We're going to get one. But you're looking at, the conditions right now. You know that you have equity in your house. You know that when you buy the house, you're going to get an aggressive interest rate. Maybe it's not the 3.75 that you refinanced into, 3 months ago, 3 years ago, but you are going to get a great interest rate going forward. And they really can only go in one direction from where they're at right now. We just don't know when.
Exactly. I fully agree with you. So take advantage of the market. I mean, really think about it. Take advantage of it. That was Billy Colestock, SoCalLifestyleRealty.com. When we come back, if you've been looking for a home, we might have the house of your dreams. It might be on the market. We're going to talk about today, and we're going to talk about a couple listings that are coming to market. It could be the one that finds it before it hits the market to give you the upper hand on some of those other buyers out there. It's the Mr. Credit Show, 1700 ESPN. We'll be right back.
If you would like free advice from Mr. Credit, just call or text 619-786-7853. That's 619-786-7853.
Welcome back to the Lunch Hour with Mr. Credit. And today, it's Wise Wednesday on ESPN Radio 1700.
Welcome back to your Wise Wednesday. It's John Giroux, JJ, Synergy One, lending on the Mr. Credit Show today. If you have any questions for myself, and we're going to talk about a new loan program that is out there. It's actually not a loan program, but if you have been credit challenged, you haven't been able to get in the home of your dreams, this program might help you out. It's called New Path. We'll get to it in just a second. I want to bring some listings to the market. We have Billy Colestock in the studio, SoCalLifestyleRealty.com. I'm going to give you Billy's number right now. Take it down. Keep it for yourself. Give it to somebody you know that's looking to buy or sell because he is the man. 619-787-4066. It's 619-787-4066. So, Billy, we're going to go through these listings. I love talking about listings because I know we have people listening that are looking for homes. And you always have such a great variety. And a lot of different. I mean, you're covering a lot of ground here, and we'll get to the upcoming listings in just a second. But let's start with Portofino here.
Please.
It's up in Vista. Can I give out the address?
Yeah, please. Let's do it.
Okay. 1410 Portofino Drive. It's in Vista, 92081. List price is $599. Give me a rundown here.
This property, golfers, let's pay attention. Golfers, anybody out there who likes to golf, this is on the Shadow Ridge Golf Course.
Great area.
On the 17th tee. Okay, backing straight up. You want to live the golfer's lifestyle. You want to have the golf cart in the garage, drive over, play the back nine. This is the house for you. 3 bedrooms, little over 2,100 square feet, completely remodeled, beautiful home. It's listed at $599. You can't beat that. Can't beat the deal.
Oh, well, to be on a golf course, I mean, let's say you have a young one and you're trying to make him a golf prodigy. This is the house for you. And Shadow Ridge is a great family community as well. So $599, great deal. Let's go on to the next one, Billy. We got 6668 Hudson Place, San Diego. It's 92119. 484 to 494. Tell me about this place.
This one is in the shadow of Cowles Mountain.
Oh, there we go. Coles Mountain.
Coles Mountain. Thanks. I wanted you to correct me.
I know you do. You darn it.
I wanted you to correct me.
I love it.
Is your wife listening?
Probably not, but
okay.
I'll replay it for her.
Okay. Perfect. So anyway, in the shadow of the mountain, you can walk to it in the evenings. It's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath home. It's a fantastic, San Carlos neighborhood, great schools. Your kids are going to go to Patrick Henry. It's a family house all day long, great neighborhood.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're talking under $500,000.
Yep.
And you're right, San Carlos, great area, 4-bed, 2-bath. It's not easy to find anything under $500,000. This thing is going to fly off the shelf. If you've been looking for a home, this could be the home that you've been looking for. Reach out to Billy at 619-787-4066. And we'll go to the next one here. 7391 Marjoram Avenue. 92120. 674 is the list price.
Great value in the area. Just was on the phone with the seller yesterday. Price per square foot, we're right on it with the value in this one. It has a pool.
Okay.
5 bedrooms. Okay.
5 beds.
5 bedrooms.
Okay.
5 bedrooms. A huge home, about 2,400 square feet. You're going to be able to entertain in this house. Your whole family can live there. Great school district again, Patrick Henry. You're gonna love that house.
And it's hard to, we're talking about a 5-bedroom house in a great area for under $700,000. It's not easy to find that many bedrooms for your big family. So reach out to Billy on that one.
With a pool.
With a pool.
Not a lot. There's not a lot of houses in that neighborhood with a pool.
And it's fun. I have a pool at home. We use it all the time, especially in the weather we've been having. It's solar heated, and I'll tell you, it gets too hot sometimes. But you can have a lot of family time well spent in the pool. Got another one in Oceanside here, 1821 Via Alina, and there's Oceanside 92056. Amazing price points here, $439 to $449. Tell me about this one.
This one, it's your Camp Pendleton, Oceanside, great neighborhood. It's 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bath, 1,900 square feet. Fantastic neighborhood. You're good community. It's close to Pendleton. You can't beat this deal.
Probably. This is a great. If you are military and you want to get off base, get into the housing market. What a great price point. And don't be afraid. If you get relocated, this is something with rents in San Diego County. These are things you can cash flow and break even and go, start your real estate portfolio. That's the cool thing.
Correct me if I'm wrong on this one. E5 or E6 is most likely going to be able to afford that payment.
Yeah, definitely.
With their BAH.
Oh, definitely. Without a doubt. Mm-hmm. Definitely. No, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer for a military family to get into this place.
I think, it's a spectacular, it's a newer build, 1980s or newer build. Great community.
Awesome. That's cool. Reach out to Billy on that one. Now, these next two we're going to talk about, these are not on the MLS. You're not going to find them online yet, and that's why you need to reach out to Billy. I'm going to give you his number one more time, 619-787-4066. These are coming to the market. I'm not even going to give the address. I'll let you give it out if you can give it out,
Sure.
Billy. But let's start with the first one here.
It's 10165 Weston Hill. It's in Mira Mesa.
Okay.
Okay. It's a 4-bedroom home, but it's being used as a senior facility.
Oh, interesting.
Okay. I need to talk to you about the numbers of those, because the seller was giving me the numbers, and it's an incredible cash cow.
Yes. Yeah, I bet.
Senior facility. It's a 6-bed facility right now. Okay. And it is making about net $4,000 to $5,000 a month.
I've seen it. I've seen it happen. It's amazing. What a great opportunity.
Great house.
Yep.
4-bedroom home. Caretaker stays inside the house. Great kitchen, fully remodeled. It has all of so folks who buy these senior facilities, they actually have to make changes to the home.
Yep.
This one's ready.
What's the price point of this?
This one is $499.
Oh my goodness gracious, $500,000.
Yeah.
You have a business on your hands that's netting you $50 to $60,000 a year. That's crazy. Let's go to the next one. Again, not on the MLS yet, not online yet. You can get the preview ahead of time. Let's talk about this one.
This one is 1226 La Presa Avenue. It's on Dictionary Hill.
Okay.
Okay. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, beautiful curb appeal. This house, I saw it in the MLS for the first time. Great curb appeal. About 1,400 square feet. We're going to list that at $370.
Wow.
Right?
$370, Dictionary Hill. You will be smarter than everybody else just because you're living on Dictionary Hill, which is kind of cool. But, I mean, that's crazy.
Great views.
That's amazing.
Great views. $370.
That's insane. That's insane. You can't even buy good condos for $370 anymore. That's Billy Colestock, SoCalLifestyleRealty.com. And if you want to reach out to him on any of these properties, call him today. They're not going to last. 619-787-4066. As Billy said earlier in the show, I mean, we have 4,400 plus homes already pending in San Diego County right now. I mean, you think inventory has gone up, but half of it's getting gobbled away. We have a new loan program. I want you to reach out to me. If you've been credit challenged in the past and somebody's told you no, I want you to reach out today. Go to AskJJNow.com. I'm going to tell you about our new Path program to get you into a home today where somebody else has told you no. It's John Giroux, JJ, Synergy One Lending, Mr. Credit on this Wise Wednesday. We'll see you next week on Monday, 1700 ESPN.
If you would like to contact Mr. Credit or access any free offers mentioned on the show, just go to MrCredit.org. That's MrCredit.org.